It's Madden NFL 24.
And we've got a duel in the Lone Star State.
It's the Houston Texans and the Dallas Cowboys.
And it's coming up next.
We are sandwiched between Fort Worth and Dallas, Texas in Arlington at the luxurious AT&T Stadium. Coming up, we got a good matchup on tap here, as it'll be the Houston Texans taking on their in-state rivals, the Dallas Cowboys. Brandon Gaudin alongside Charles Davis. Before kickoff, Charles, quickly your keys to the game.
Well, partner, I could give you the standard ones, turnovers, special teams play. But here's one that doesn't get talked about much anymore, and that's time of possession. Whoever controls the football, gives their defense a break, and takes care of business, that's the team that's going to win this ball game.
Here's the former UCLA Bruin, Kaimi Fairbairn, to get this one started. And we are underway from AT&T Stadium. And he'll be stopped up at the 25. Now we'll see what the right arm of Dak Prescott has in store as the Dallas Cowboys offense sets up shop.
It's been a lot of fun watching him advance in his career. Many people question his ability to throw the football coming out of Mississippi State. He's conclusively answered that question. In addition, a very strong runner and an even better leader.
They run here with Rico Dowdle. And he sneaks his way forward only for a couple here. Second down. When we talk about defenders, specifically linebackers, keeping their eyes in the right spot, he had that eye down the entire time.
And you know that's not easily done because they throw a lot of misdirection at you. They try and fool you and get your eyes in the wrong place. But you're right about that one. He correctly figured that one out and made a really nice play.
Now a toss left side into the hands of his tight end. A pickup of about 3 yards as he's taken down at the 31.
And there's a completion to the tight end. And look at the size of these players nowadays. At that spot, 6'4", 6'5", and up. A lot of guys used to be basketball players, somehow came back to football. And that's really good for the game of football. You're getting better athleticism, great hand-eye coordination, guys who know how to control their bodies when they run their routes.
Now a third down throw, but it misses the target, incomplete. That's a pretty good opening possession defensively.
And you know the goal is to make something of a statement, especially on the road with your first defensive possession, isn't it? Go right out and establish yourselves and let them know this is going to be tough going all game long.
On to punt now, Anger as he boots this one away. On the return, it's King. So a good punt there, but a nice return of 11 yards. And it will be 1st and 10 as they take over. So out come the Texans for their opening drive. And they will be led out by the youngster, the rookie, their QB.
For every rookie prospect, there are always nerves involved in this moment. Running your team out to start a game. But there's a reason they brought him in. We're willing to make him their starter today. They believe he can overcome those nerves and lead his team to a victory. We saw him do it at the collegiate level and really make himself into a leader and someone you can envision doing the exact same thing here in the NFL.
The drive will start with an option going left. Now he's tackled a yard short of the marker. Good gain of 9 on 1st down. A little do-it-yourself run right there and a nice gain.
And I like that he knew that that was about all he was going to get. So he did a nice job of protecting himself, took care of the football, took what the defense gave him. If they continue to allow him to do that, they'll find their way taking what they can all the way to the end zone.
On the ground, this is Joe Mixon. 6 yards the pickup, and that's a first down.
A quick burst there, and he nicely bit off a pretty decent gain.
Play action. Stroud now. This goes out wide for Mixon. And he'll be out of bounds just shy of the 40. That's good for a Texan first down, a 12-yard pickup.
Nice little nifty play for him there. That's the ability to read a defense and utilize players that don't often get picked up in coverage easily. And I'm talking about being able to use the backs out of the backfield. Because I know that when I used to cover, hey, we got everybody cut. Oh, he just snuck out there, and they just got a nice first down there.
What do we love to say? Get those backs into space, right? And they were able to do that there. Nice pickup on first down.
This could be the start of a nice stand from this defense now after getting walked backwards on this drive. Come through with another one here, and you have them staring at a 3rd and long, and that puts the defense in a position to dictate to the offense.
Stroud. And the Cowboys pressure gets there this time for the sack. Multiple players combined for their team's first sack of the game.
The lessons will continue of this rookie. He's got to learn how to read situations just a little bit better. That far behind the line, he's got to find a way to get rid of the football and not take the sack, whether it's with his legs or just throwing it away.
Here is 3rd and quite a ways. Stroud to throw it. And this is caught. It's Brown. And he'll be out just a yard or two shy of the 30. A real letdown defensively. That was 3rd and a bundle, but they allow the conversion.
And, partner, they're locked in man coverage out left, and they end up running a crossing route. Rounded it a little bit more than a slant. And he's just going to angle himself towards the right side of the field, and that's very difficult for a defender to shadow him across all that ground.
And he is going to lose yardage here. Call it a full 3 yards in the wrong direction there. Brings up 2nd down.
We knew both of these safeties were good in run support, but how about the play we just saw there? How about that closing speed? Able to get to the outside part of the field and turn that play into a loss.
And now some motion before the snap. And this will be our first penalty of the night's proceedings. They get the guard out of Georgia Tech, Shaq Mason. And that false start penalty certainly not helping their cause here. 2nd down and long. Stroud will run the option left. And he probably should have given that one off as he's going to get hit and taken down behind the line. He lost 4 there, and it's 3rd down. Well, sometimes that option can get bogged down before the gears really even get into motion, and I think that's what we saw there.
And I think what he saw a defensive end right in his face because he looked up and he was right there. Didn't even have a chance to get going.
It's complete to Brown, right side. They'll get 19 out of this, but it will still bring up a 4th down.
But I think that we all figured when he caught it that short of the marker that the defense almost relaxed and said, we've got this covered. And then all of a sudden, space to run after the catch. And now they're screaming, somebody get him down. Fortunately, they got to him and forced the 4th down.
The kick by Fairbairn is good. And it's now 3-0 Texans. A lot of energy in this building tonight, but the opening drive produces 3, maybe quiets them just a bit, at least momentarily.
Just a little, right? That's all you're asking for, right? Things just getting started. You know they haven't taken the momentum totally here, but at the same time, they like what they've done here in the early going.
Fairbairn now following the made field goal. He'll send this one away. This fielded right at the goal line. And he'll be brought down shy of the 20, so the decision to bring it out of the end zone, not a good one. Second drive forthcoming here for the Dallas Cowboys. And they'll certainly be trying to do better than that first drive where they went 3 and out.
And sometimes the first drive is just simply to settle nerves. You know what it's like at the start of a game with the emotion. Guys a little bit jumpy.
But you do.
Oh, you understand the same way. It's just like us calling one, right? Making sure we ease into the game, let it come to us.
Well, you went 3
and
and
now
out.
they have that opportunity.
No, you didn't go 3 and out. I went 3 and out on that first drive. I'll try to do better here. They'll start on the ground here on first down. And he'll find some space up to about the 25. It's a 7-yard carry to set them up with a 2nd and 3.
That run right there was an offensive line coach's dream, wasn't it? Guys picked up all of their assignments, created a nice gap for the running back to get through, pick up 7 yards. Yeah, he's probably chortling on the headset right now saying, we got it going, boys. Let's keep it going.
They run again with Dowdle. It's a gain of 12, and the Cowboys pick up the first. A nice toss play there to the left. More than enough room to move the chains.
And you know what I love about that play as a broadcaster? Seeing the big guys move. Seeing them get upfield and take out defenders. You know what I hated as a defensive back?
What?
That exact same thing. Seeing those linemen coming downfield, getting ready to blot out the sun.
First down, Prescott. He finds his man, complete. That's Ferguson. And he'll be corralled out across midfield down to the 45. Another nice gain. That's now 30 yards between those last 2 plays.
I know sometimes we can get fooled when we watch him make catches, as we just saw him do there, because he really looks like a wide receiver the way he goes about his business.
Yeah, 230, 240 range.
Yeah, not super huge. Maybe not counted on to be that inline point-of-attack blocker that we used to have in the good old days, but you can flex him out. You can run wide receiver routes with him. You can make him a primary target, and that's how he'll shred a defense.
It's caught. Tolbert. And he's corralled, but not before getting it inside the 35. Back-to-back nice plays. 12 yards that time and a first down. On the run, it's Dowdle. And this will leave him a yard short. Nice pickup of 9 yards on first down. Well, they're making an effort to get the ground game going tonight. So far, it's working.
I like what we're seeing from the offensive line. They seem to have the leverage going, and they're controlling things and reestablishing the line of scrimmage, moving that defensive front backwards, but also like what the runner's giving us, too. It appears that he's been waiting all day long to get out here and take off.
And he's going to be taken down back around the 35-yard line. Will Anderson in there to bury him for a loss of 11.
They've gobbled up over 30 yards of turf so far, but a sack knocks them backwards. And that interrupts the momentum they were building. Good opportunity for the defense to escape this drive before they get to the end zone.
They'll need a big play here. Will Dak and the Cowboys after the sack. It's 3rd and long. To throw is Prescott. Able to find the open man. That's complete. Touchdown, Cowboys. Jalen Tolbert, 35 yards. And the Cowboys are able to answer the early 3 points and take a first-quarter lead. So the quarterback drops to throw, looks over, and boom, a guy that wide open, he has to be thinking, wait a minute, this is some kind of a dream. This is too easy.
Yeah, a great dream. One you don't want to wake up from. But for the defense, almost feels like there was a bust in coverage.
Brandon Aubrey now for the extra point. He's got it. They'll see that opening drive field goal and raise it a touchdown, and that makes it 7-3. So after the touchdown, Aubrey now to kick this one away. From a yard or two deep, here comes a return. And he'll be stopped right around where he would have been had he gone down to a knee, maybe a yard shy of there at the 24. So now we get set to see Houston for their second drive of the ball game. And after the field goal last time, we'll see what they can get here. At least they got points out of the last drive, Charles.
I never met an offensive coach that didn't want a drive to end with a kick. Most of them wanted to end with a PAT, right? In this case, a field goal, they'll take it. Way better than the alternative, which is a punt.
Yeah, but you've met fan bases that wanted that, that weren't happy with that field goal.
I haven't met a fan base yet that wants a drive to end with a kick, other than the extra point. That's it.
That one unable to develop, never got going. A loss of a couple, and it's second down.
Well, looked like the defense, they were ready for that one.
Really left him almost no room to work after catching the ball. He could throw every move in the book at him. They were there, and they tackle him for a loss.
On second down, here's Mixon.
And he can muster only a couple here to the 24.
Vision is so important for the man in the middle because his ability to look through all the clutter that's happening in front of him, diagnose a play, and then go make it and finish it, that's when the great ones know that they have the goods.
Third down and 10. Here's Stroud.
It's incomplete. Took a shot, couldn't connect.
Well, they certainly came out firing in this one, and while that one was incomplete, I can't imagine that'll be the last shot that they take in this game.
The Texans send the punter out.
Kevontae Turpin deep for the Cowboys.
Take it at the 37. 35 yards that time on the punt, and the Cowboys will take over the football with a 1st and 10. About set for this next drive by the Cowboys offense.
The last time out, they had to march almost the full length of the field for their touchdown. So here, much easier, Charles, with this better starting. Oh, he tries to force it in, and it's intercepted.
Picked off by the former first-rounder Jimmy Ward. And he's able to get it back to the 41-yard line. Before we came up to the booth, last thing he said as we were walking off the field, want to play mistake-free football. Well, that just went out the window there with a pick.
And you remember what you said to me when we were walking up to the booth after he said that? You're like, oh, fatal last words. Every time we hear that, things tend to fall apart a little bit, and that's what we saw there. Didn't get enough on that throw, and it turned into an interception.
Mixon with a 1st down carry. It's a 6-yard gain on the ground, and that'll make it 2nd and 4. After one, 7-3 the score on EA Sports. Texans football to start quarter 2. From the 35, back to work on 2nd and 4. As they've got it as we resume action. Stroud off the play fake. He'll drop this one down to Mixon. And he'll work it inside the 30 to the 29-yard line. 6 yards the pickup, and that's a 1st down.
But they've certainly made a point of getting him involved in the passing game here in the first half. They must have seen something in the scouting that said, hey, we can capitalize on him getting the ball possibly in the open field. And I think in the second half, that may loosen up the defense a little bit to get the running game going back inside.
And down he goes, taking it inside the 10, just shy of the 5 at the 6.
So the penalty declined, and they will keep the yardage on the completion.
And you could almost see him compartmentalize there throughout the route. Fought hard at the line of scrimmage, a lot of hand checking throughout the route. Great job staying focused on the football and pulling it in through the contact.
Mixing up the middle. And he's going to press this one forward as they stop him right around the 1. 5 yards, a good run there, and now 2nd and goal.
That's a great run right there on 1st down. Didn't quite get into the end zone, but now you've set yourself up for at least 2, maybe 3 more shots from close range.
2nd and goal from the 1. Now Stroud. And that is caught. Touchdown, Texans. Dalton Schultz, a 1-yard touchdown reception. And the Texans are once again back in front. Well, with this rookie QB, we talk a lot about his ball placement and how good he can be at laying it right in there. I think we just saw, Charles, though, the strength of that arm. That was an absolute rifle for the completed touchdown.
It absolutely was, and let's face it, you think he was really ready to get that first touchdown? Absolutely. He threw that pass with authority, just as you described. Big-time arm right there, and let's face it, a lot of quarterbacks used to be pitchers in baseball. The fastball was usually their best pitch, and we saw it there.
So after the touchdown, here's Fairbairn now to kick it away. Kevontae Turpin now from his end zone. And that decision to bring it out ends up not being a good one. Costs him about 5 yards as he's tackled at the 20. And out now come the Cowboys. And for this offense, Charles, you got to think kind of crucial here to put something together on this drive, because remember last time out they threw the interception on the very first play.
And you can't afford to let this defense keep building any more momentum. They're playing awfully well, and they're awfully confident right now. To me, it's time to attack and take some of that momentum back. But make sure you're selective in doing so. Understand where you want to throw the football and make sure it's open before the ball leaves your hands.
And he slides and covers up at the end as he's going to be able to pick up decent yardage. He'll wind up getting 9 after tucking it and running, so it'll leave him with 2nd and a yard.
Certainly not the way they drew it up in the playbook, but that's why they love this guy back there. He sees things breaking down, and he's more than capable of finding an escape route and still getting a decent gain.
They run here with Dowdle, and he is going to be stopped cold behind the line of scrimmage. 2 yards the loss, and now they go from 2nd and 2 to a tough 3rd and 4.
It's a tough one right there. He ran right into the teeth of the blitz as the linebacker was freed up in order to stuff that one for a loss. I think quarterbacks got to see that. Got to find a way to audible into something a little more advantageous.
Here's Prescott. He's got his target. That's complete. And he'll be taken down, but not before they work it across midfield. And they pick up 25 as they convert on 3rd.
That's a play that'll likely be forgotten when you talk about big moments in this game. But plays like this are critical to keep drives going. And if points result, we'll call this play significant.
So a 1st and 10 now in Houston territory at the 48-yard line. Looking to throw. Prescott. There again is Cooks, complete. And a 5-yard gain gets him to the 42. And now we're going to get a stoppage. A member of the Cowboys shaken up. The medical staff is going to come out here and take a look, and we will take a short break. Throwing. Prescott. It's caught left side by Cooks. And he's going to be taken down with another 1st down as the stop's made at the Texans 33. They picked up 5 yards last time. Now they double it and get 10 here. So they'll come up 1st and 10 now from the 33. Now Prescott. He'll find Lamb. That's complete. And he's taken down, but not before reaching the 10-yard line. 23 yards on the play.
And this has been a nice answer to the touchdown drive against them a few minutes ago, because they've come out and reestablished the tempo. A nice throw there, and they're putting together a very strong drive as a response.
First and 10, and they've got 3 tight ends out there. A jumbo package look. Now it's a bootleg with Prescott. Forced out to his left. And he is into the end zone for a Cowboy touchdown. Dak Prescott, a 10-yard touchdown run. And the Cowboys have taken the lead. Not the first time on this drive we saw him take matters into his own hands, and this time he finishes things off with a touchdown run.
You're not going to be happy with me, but I think he took matters into his own feet, didn't he?
Oh, Davis from the top rope. I like it. Now the extra point up and good by Aubrey. And the lead is now 14-10. So after the touchdown, Aubrey now to kick this one away. From a couple yards deep, he'll bring it out of the end zone. And he'll be stopped right around where he would have been had he gone down to a knee, maybe a yard shy of there at the 24. Houston's offense taking over again. Now they'll throw it with Stroud here, 1st and 10. He's got it complete to Stephon Diggs. And they get him down, but not before he takes it across the 40-yard line. The catch and run, good for 18 and a first down.
And maybe that touchdown on the previous drive has re-energized this offense a little bit. They've been kind of sluggish until then, but they're showing signs of life here, and they get good yardage that time and a first down.
It's Mixon on the counter. And not much there at all. Maybe a yard up to the 43.
He's definitely tough to get down. We just saw it right there. But how about what we did see? Pursuit, wrap up, and then the big finish with the tackle.
They work now on 2nd and 9. And Stroud now to throw. Going deep for Diggs. And at the 7-yard line, the catch is made. A huge play there for Houston. 52 yards.
But I think it's about time I took my eyes off of the secondary or the guys with the football. How about the offensive line on that snap? They took care of business.
Absolutely, and when he can stay in the pocket like that, you're going to get big plays like we just saw. They come out with 1 back and 3 tight ends. They'll give it to Mixon. And he's in for the score. Touchdown, Texans. Joe Mixon, a 5-yard touchdown run. And the Texans have yet again retaken the lead. Well, that was a quick drive. The passing game set it up, and then the running game finishes it off.
And how about how few plays it was to get it done, but they threw it downfield and then pounded it into the end zone. And as a former defender, I can tell you, it hurts just a little bit more when they run it into the end zone instead of throwing it.
Extra point by Fairbairn, up and good. And it's now 17-14. So after the touchdown, here's Fairbairn now to kick it away. Taken at the goal line. And only able to get this to the 19, so probably should have opted for the touchback. Dallas offense set for this next drive.
And that last drive, so effective in the passing game, resulting in the touchdown. Maybe not many people were focused on the trenches. There was good protection there.
Excellent protection. So now defensively, you've almost got to get down in those starters blocks like you're a sprinter. Get lower than those guys on offense and find a way to roar through them or around them to get into the face of the passer.
Easier said than done, though.
Way easier said than done. But they've got to try something because right now they're just cutting them to shreds.
Now he's going to swing this one out to his running back.
And he'll maybe get back to the line of scrimmage, but no more than that. So nothing doing there, and it's second down.
Well, that was a simple throw and catch, but even with that completion, 0 yards gained, so they're behind schedule on down and distance.
I think they were hoping to get it to him. He could make a man or two miss, but that window closed quickly. A second down throw for Prescott. His throw incomplete.
To this point, I've been impressed with the work defensively. They have not allowed a lot of receivers to run free. And there's another example, another incompletion.
The Cowboys on third down. They've been okay, 2 for 3 thus far. This is 3rd and 10. Here's Prescott. The decision to tuck and run gets him 3, but that's not enough. Now it's 4th.
Nice call on defense, rolling out the nickel package for that big third down play, and they did an excellent job locking down coverage and forcing him to try and run for it, and he doesn't get there, which brings up a big 4th down call.
On 4th down, here's Brian Anger now to kick this one away. A big rush by the Texans, and they block it. And that play was made coming up the middle. That wasn't a punt block from the outside, Charles.
That means someone had their eyes in the wrong place, and that would be the personal protector. Look in the middle first before you scan to the side. Sometimes they get distracted and think the threat is coming off the edge. Up the middle is the one you have to care about the most because that's the quickest spot and the quickest way to the punter.
So from the 17 now, here's a 1st and 10. Throwing now is Stroud.
Being chased out left. And he'll protect himself at the end here as he winds up getting pretty decent yardage. The improv on the scramble there gets him 6, and it'll be 2nd down.
You know what I like about that play? He didn't try to do too much on 1st down. He took what the defense gave him, put together a solid gain to bring up 2nd and manageable. Now they have a couple of plays to pick up just a few yards and a new set of downs.
Stroud looking to throw.
The left side caught by Diggs. And down inside the 10 here before he's out of bounds right around the 7. He is putting on a show in this second quarter, racking up the receiving yards as he has a 1st down. Coming up to the line, and they will need to run another play here before the 2-minute warning.
On the bootleg, Stroud.
And got his man. It's caught. Touchdown, Houston.
Brevin Jordan.
A 7-yard touchdown grab.
And the Texans take the block punt and convert it into 6 points.
There was a lot of zip on that pass, and baseball might have called that a frozen rope.
I like it when you bring the diamond into the game. I'm going back to the gridiron. Had some heat on that bad boy. Sometimes you throw a touchdown pass, and sometimes
you throw, what, a touchdown strike?
There you go. That's my man, in concert.
Fairbairn good with the extra point, and his guys will take a 10-point lead. So after the touchdown, here's Fairbairn now to kick it away.
And this taken in at the goal line. And he had no room to run as he's tackled down inside the 20. The time to get another look at this Cowboys offense. They're down now 24-14. Work to do as they come up on a 1st and 10. Prescott now. The short one there taken in by Ferguson. Just a gain of a couple there, and it'll be 2nd down. And we've hit the 2-minute mark in this first half of action. 2nd down and 8. Prescott to throw it. He'll get this to his running back, Dowdle. And he's going to get this one across the 30-yard line. 11 yards and a Cowboy 1st down.
Well, I like the play design there. They occupied the defense downfield, everyone trying to account for someone. But unfortunately, they didn't account for the running back slipping out of the backfield. And he was absolutely unnoticed and wound up getting big yards on that play.
On 1st and 10, Prescott. And he slides and covers up at the end as he's going to be able to pick up decent yardage. The improv on the scramble there gets him 6, and it'll be 2nd down.
They made a nice effort to stick him with a loss for that play, but it's going to take more than that to keep him from advancing the ball. Should be an entertaining battle anytime he tucks and runs over the second half of this contest.
Now Prescott. Finding Tolbert here over the middle. And he's going to be taken down with another 1st down as the stop's made at the Texans' 44-yard line. Now a timeout called for by the offense as the stoppage will come with a little under a minute to go in this first half. A good-looking drive for the Cowboys so far. It's a 1st down.
Nothing here.
Prescott. Open man downfield is Lamb. It's complete. Touchdown, Cowboys. C.D. Lamb, 44 yards. And the Cowboys get a late score here in the final minute of the first half. These two teams in this first half, it's been fun. Back and forth, back and forth. Well, it's not fun for the defensive coordinators, but offensive coordinators are enjoying it.
Yeah, they're having streaks here, aren't they? Being able to put scores together and really bunch them up, and we have a tight game here. You know, we often talk about having the right shoes for the right turf. Today it's track shoes, because that's what we've seen with these offenses.
Yeah, it's been an absolute track meet so far, and fun to watch. Aubrey good with a PAT. And that cuts the lead to 3, 24-21. So after the touchdown, Aubrey now to kick this one away. And he'll get it up across the 20 to the 21-yard line. The Texans with the football here late in this first half. And we'll see how this is played. Offensively, they've got the lead. Not a whole lot of time left. What do you think, Charles?
Well, it's tempting to try and add to your lead, but a mistake there, that can change things in a big way. I say go ahead, take the knee, get on out for the half.
On first down, here's Stroud. It's complete to Diggs. Now the Texans will burn the first of their timeouts as they'll stop it with just over 40 seconds to go in the first half. From the 34 now, here's 1st and 10. Stroud out of the gun here. And that is incomplete. Oh, the coverage a little too good there, and it's 2nd down.
And I think they'd be well served to take that type of a physical approach against him the rest of the game. He's had his way so far, but on that last one, that worked quite well for the defense.
Now a 2nd and 10. Now Stroud. He's got the connection over the middle to Diggs. 16 yards on that one, and also a Texan first down. Now the Texans will use one of their 2 remaining timeouts as they'll stop it with a little over 30 seconds to go in the first half of play. From the midfield stripe, they'll look to throw. Over the middle, complete. That's Brown. And he's going to get a solid gain of 9 before being brought down. 2nd and right at a yard. The Texans going to signal for their 3rd and final timeout as the clock will stop with 21 seconds to go here in the first half. From the 41, this is 2nd and a yard. Back to throw. Here's Stroud. Got his man, Dell. Oh, he's brought down. And remember here, no timeouts left. They got to get to the line quick. And they just keep marching right along. First down on a pickup of 8 there. So we've reached halftime in a wild first half. We'll take a minute to catch our breath as we send you on over to Orlando for Jonathan Coachman in our EA Sports Halftime Report. Take it away, Coach.
All right, BG, thanks very much. And welcome one and all to our beautiful new downtown Orlando studios for this EA Sports Halftime Report. It was Joe Mixon who had it working in the first half. He had a touchdown run that helped get his guys this halftime lead.
Okay, Coach, thanks as always. This one's still anyone's game as we welcome you back for quarter number 3. It's been a shootout so far. We'll see which defense can make the adjustments as we get back underway in the second half. And he will not bring it out. It's a touchback. And now we move our focus to Stephon Diggs. And I know that they've double-teamed him a couple times, but not a ton. Whatever they're doing isn't working. He's up over 100 yards. We'll see how they adjust.
And when they do that, they weaken their defense in other places as well. And how many times have we done games where we've seen a guy have a big game like this, but it's usually not by himself, is it?
Right.
Usually it opens it up for other people to have big games as well.
Mixon will get it to start the second half. Oh, what a juke into space. And they get him down, but not before he takes it across the 40-yard line. That play going for 16 yards to start the drive. First down.
Sometimes it's hard to believe, but there are times this game is about patience, isn't it? has had the game he expected, but that run there, that may get him going.
I was just going to say, maybe that gives him a little juice, because you're right, he struggled, especially in that first half.
Yeah, and I know the great ones always think to themselves, just hang in there. I'm just one big carry away from busting this open. That's a good start for him.
46 yards rushing for him now in the ball game.
Well, you certainly have to give a little credit here because they're playing this game now at their pace. This is ball control football, sustained runs, taking their time and making it work.
Again, it's Mixon. And he'll be brought down at the 48-yard line. 4 yards the pickup, first down.
But we always talk about good down and distance, allowing offenses to expand their playbook. Well, 2nd and 2, that means your playbook's wide open. You can run just about anything. But a lot of times, the play caller, he just looks down at his sheet, sees the short yardage runs, and goes to one of those.
Stroud off the play fake. That'll be pulled in downfield by Collins.
And they'll wind up getting this one all the way down inside the 20. He got 29 yards that time.
Oh, I like that play call there. After a run for good yardage, you get a defense thinking they'll go back to the well. So that's a great time to call play action and give your receivers a little extra edge. And they complete the pass there for another first down.
So here's a 1st and 10 now down inside the 20.
From the gun to give to Mixon. And he'll get this down only to the 18.
Brought down on the play by Deron Bland.
But you know that old expression, it's not my night? It hasn't been his so far. I don't know if the legs are a little bit heavy. Sometimes having to hang out all day and play doesn't exactly play to your advantage, but it's been a tough go for him.
And every time he looks up, somebody's there defensively. That was the same case on that play.
Meanwhile, Stroud's throw complete here to his receiver, Brown.
So that'll be no better than an incompletion, and that's going to set up a tough 3rd and 9.
As a defense, you're more balanced when you're in zone coverage because you're able to keep your eyes on the quarterback and see the play develop in front of you. They're able to keep the quick pass in front of them and stop it right at the line of scrimmage.
Stroud on 3rd down now. And that one to the right side and incomplete.
Smart move to throw that one away. You're in field goal range, so you definitely don't want to be loose with the ball. And that's great work by this defense to force a 4th down.
So on 4th down, Texan kicker Kaimi Fairbairn comes on. From the left hash, it's a 36-yard attempt. Fairbairn able to put this one through, and that will double their lead as it's up to 6. Well, looking at it from a defensive perspective, that keeps the deficit very, very manageable. You know, all things considered, not a bad job on the defensive side.
I would say that you've pointed out something pretty good right there, and that is you actually have both sides happy with that exchange. You know, happy in quotes, of course. One team, hey, we've kept it within range. The other side saying, hey, we put points on the board and did stretch out the lead. Let's see how this one turns out.
Yeah, still bottom line, though, 3 points for the opening drive of the 3rd quarter. Fairbairn now following the made field goal. He'll send this one away.
And here comes a return from just beyond the goal line. And they'll get him down right at the 25-yard line, so the same result had he opted for the touchback. From a star in college to a star in the NFL, CeeDee Lamb at wide receivers. He brings out this offense.
Pretty good game for him so far. I guess he's still got time here to make this a great game, but so far, he's been solid.
I like where you're going with that because it has been pretty good, but there's always that hint that things can really escalate for him. And right now, they feel like they're somewhat keeping him in check, but he has found the end zone once. But, boy, he can explode at any moment.
Yeah, and when you hit that end zone once, you want to find it again, don't you?
Yes, you do.
Makes you hungrier.
You get greedy in a good way.
And they work this well upfield across the 45.
49 yards rushing for him now on just 6 carries to this point.
One thing that's great about watching him run, Charles, he doesn't hesitate. He got to the left side of his O-line and just went.
So there's 2 ways to look at that. One, just absolutely unconcerned, just takes off and goes. But more the latter, I think, which is he has absolute confidence in the guys in front of him, the guys doing the blocking for him. He just takes it and goes with abandon.
And they get 17 more on that one and another first down. running play. It's Dowdle. And he'll take this down to the 33.
Well, if you're a football guy, that's a pretty run because everyone is in sync right there. Obviously, the guy carrying the ball, but how about the people up front? Leverage, athleticism, they created some nice space for him.
From the 33, here's a 2nd down and 6. And they'll give him another shot here on the ground. And he's able to get it down to the 25-yard line. 7 yards there and a 1st down.
They're making it look easy out there. Another 1st down. So far on this drive, let me do this little bit of math here. 4 plays, 3 1st downs.
That's a pretty good recipe for success. 1st down, Prescott. He finds his man, complete. That's Ferguson. And brought down, but not before they get it inside the 10 to the 7. 18 yards there, and it'll be a 1st and goal.
Well, this is a defense that's definitely on their heels now because they gave up the running play for good yardage 1 play ago. Now the pass here sets this offense up 1st and goal. They're going to have to dig in strong now because they've been in retreat so far in this drive. This offense on the march.
They'll try and run for it on 1st and goal. That's a gain of 7, and we'll leave them with 2nd and goal coming up. They're mounting a nice drive here. Good chunk of yardage there again. O-line, they've been solid this drive.
They have that look about them right now that says, if you do anything but run the ball behind us, you're crazy. They have really moved it well on this drive, and they want to finish it off the same way.
Play fake. Here's Prescott. And that is caught. Touchdown, Cowboys. Jake Ferguson there to make the grab. And the Cowboys are an extra point away now from moving out in front.
This is where, as a tight end, you've got to really sell that this is a run. They're going to fake the give, hope the linebackers bite, and here they do just enough. That split second, that's all it takes for that tight end to leak out into the end zone. Touchdown.
Now the extra point up and good by Aubrey. And that will put them on top here in the 3rd. So after the touchdown, Aubrey now to kick this one away. And he'll elect not to return this one, so they'll bring it out to the 25 on the touchback. And the Texans set to come onto the field. And the points, they have come fast and furious in this quarter.
You really don't want to be on the defensive side of the ball right now, do you? Because you're either thinking, my replacement may get an opportunity.
Your head better be on a swivel.
Totally. Or maybe I just need to get out of the game for a while because I just can't slow these guys down. They've got to figure out a way to disrupt these offenses. And typically, one guy makes a big play, and that can help change things.
They'll be looking for disruption on both sides right now. He'll be dropped after a gain of about 6 across the 30 to the 31.
Well, it's time for them to be good teammates right here, and what I mean by that is possess the ball for a little while, get at least 2 first downs, give their defense a chance to settle down a little bit after they give up a touchdown.
Now it's Mixon running right. And the defense closes quickly there. He'll get maybe a yard to the 33.
Watching that play unfold and watching him complete it brought back memories of doing all those pursuit drills to make sure you don't over-pursue and let a guy get a cutback lane on you. He did that very well.
You praised him on tape yesterday for the angles that he takes to the ball. Took a great angle right there. They'll try and pick it up by running the option to the right. And this will be a Texans first down as the tackle made just shy of the 40. Well, with him trailing here in the second half, maybe his legs can try to give this offense a spark.
And that's the benefit of having a young quarterback, right? Having a rookie, a guy who will say, hold it a second, I have a little bit of fearlessness to my game. It isn't working as well the other way. Let's see what I can do to help my team this way. And, boy, he did it there.
Out of the shotgun, they run with Mixon. A good cover defensively as they get to him just beyond the 45 after the juke. 59 yards rushing for him now to this point.
You know what really fires up offensive linemen? When the guy that is carrying the ball behind them can create his own space and break a tackle along the way.
Now 2nd and 3. Now to change things up, Stroud will throw it. This goes out wide for Mixon. And he's able to take it across midfield before going out of bounds. 7 yards there and a first down.
Well, they certainly had success throughout this contest getting him the ball in the passing game, and there he picks up another first down. Whatever they saw going into this one, they've been able to capitalize on it, and no adjustment has been made to take it away.
Mixon will try the right side. And just no chance of turning the corner. He can only get back to the line of scrimmage. 2nd and 10 coming up. Well, if you look where that play starts, O-line versus D-line, that was a battle won by the D-line.
Yeah, and oftentimes it's won by quickness off the ball. Who can handle the guy across from them best? On that play, the defensive line did exactly that.
On 2nd down, it's Stroud. And Diggs has it. And he's going to have another first down here as the tackle's made at the Cowboys 35. A fresh set of downs on a gain of 13 there for the Texans.
And this was a nice example of an offensive coordinator scheming his guy open. Just a little underneath route, just trying to free up some space, and it worked awfully well. Got him not just space, but plenty of room to run after the catch to pick up really nice yardage.
And as they come to the line, they will not be able to get off another play as time has run out on this 3rd quarter. We'll return with more after this break. You're watching the NFL on EA Sports. Back now in Arlington. And we've got a dandy here. A 1-point game as we begin the 4th. It's a 6-yard pickup, and it gets him to 2nd and 4.
This has been an up and down, back and forth type of a game, hasn't it? Maybe this long drive could take a little bit of the wind out of their sails, kind of settle things down a little bit.
Ball on the 28-yard line. Here's 2nd and 4. And Stroud now to throw. And a quick throw here. That's complete. What a methodical drive this is turning out to be. That time 9 yards, and the sticks move again. They like going to him in the slot. He catches another one.
I think this comes under the heading of until they stop him, why not go back to it? He has something going really well. Great working relationship with the guy throwing the ball, and they keep making the connection.
Inside handoff to Mixon. And he will be brought down at about the 6-yard line. The pickup goes for 13 and sets him up 1st and goal.
Another carry for their leader, and a good one. It's crunch time. They'll need him to continue to be productive in both the run and passing game in order for them to try and snatch a victory.
Now, how do they want to work the clock here on 1st and goal? A field goal would give them the late lead. Now here's a little touch pass as they tap it quickly to their receiver. And a minuscule gain of maybe a yard from the 6 to the 5. A nice play design there with the touch pass. Looked good at the start, but bottom line, the defense was ready.
And they did a nice job scouting, didn't they? Not just scouting, but now executing once they saw the play for real after having worked on it all week in practice. They drilled on the play, then they drilled him.
The 2nd down throw now from Stroud. Touchdown! Dalton Schultz. 2 catches, 2 touchdowns here so far. And the Texans answer back with a touchdown of their own to take a 4th quarter lead. Those are the types of plays in these moments they were hoping for from this young rookie, able to put him up here in the 4th quarter.
How about the kid? You just mentioned it, the 4th quarter. This is when you have to make those winning plays. That's what he just did. Doesn't ensure anything, but he certainly gave his team a heck of a chance, didn't he?
Stroud's going to try to throw for the conversion. And he will get into the end zone for the 2 points, and that helps. That gives him a 7-point lead. He hits the big target for the 2-point try. Defenses hate those guys, especially around the goal line.
It's hard to decide who you're going to put on him. Are you going to put a smaller corner on him? Are you going to put a safety who doesn't have maybe the same coverage skills? How about a linebacker? He may have the size, but he's not used to really covering in space. That's why the tight end gives you such a great advantage when you're throwing the football.
So after the touchdown, here's Fairbairn now to kick it away.
Kevontae Turpin now to return.
And he won't quite make it to the 25. The Cowboys offense heading back out and ready to go again.
And now after the touchdown a moment ago, they work from behind in a 7-point game in this fourth quarter. Plenty of time on the clock.
So Prescott of the Cowboys now with a 1st and 10 at their own 24. They'll start this drive out on the ground. Desmond King making the tackle.
That's a really good gain right there. They pick up 5 yards halfway to a first down. The only problem now in the huddle, everyone's going to want to touch the football. Be a lot of chattering now because they've seen that they can move the line of scrimmage.
From the 29, here's 2nd down and 5.
And they'll keep leaning on the running game. Back to the ground. And they take him down, losing yardage back at the 27. A loss on that play, and now 3rd down gets tougher. 3rd and 6.
I know they've got to be careful not to go to the well too often, but it's a fine line, isn't it? Because sometimes if you've got success, you want to just keep pounding away.
But no success there. They rallied quickly on the defensive end. On 3rd down, it's Prescott. Under pressure, and the Texans able to get in there for the sack. It's a loss of 10 on the sack, and it leads to 4th.
Okay, I'm not sure you could actually draw up a better pass rush than that one right there. Nowhere to go outside. He had to keep backing up and backing up and backing up. Eventually dropped for a huge loss.
Here's Brian Anger now. Remember, though, he did have one blocked earlier. Now, fair catch is called for and taken at the, we'll call it the 37-yard line. So possession goes over here on the punt. And the Texans will take over with a 1st and 10.
Stroud.
This will be caught by Brown. Only able to gain a couple there, and that's going to bring up 2nd down. That time they hit him out of the slot on the drag.
And that route takes some fortitude from the guy running it because he knows he's going through the briar patch, as I like to call it, right? He's trying to work his way through all that traffic and people wanting to put a little contact on him. Really well done.
A handoff to Mixon. And that play going absolutely nowhere as he's belted before he could get out of the backfield. That's a big loss of 3, and it brings up 3rd down.
And this is why the head coach gets paid the big bucks. Look at where they are in this situation, partner. Do you throw the ball here in a long-distance situation? Do you run it again and trust your defense and make sure you take care of the ball and punt it away? What kind of options do you have here, and what do you trust more on your team?
Yeah, they may have just pushed him back into that throwing situation. We'll see. Excellent play there on 3rd down. Give him 25 yards. He's been the go-to guy. They needed a big play there on 3rd down. Went his way. It worked out.
Doesn't matter whether they've scouted it or that they think he's going to get the ball. He has a knack for finding his way open and completing the connection.
Line of scrimmage, the 37 on 1st and 10. Here's a give to Mixon. Oh, he shifts past him. And he'll go out of bounds inside the 15-yard line. 99 yards on the ground for him now as he has gotten better, really, as the night's gone on.
Well, that's a carry they have to be satisfied with. And throughout this game, they've been satisfied with what he's given them. Whenever they've needed a big run, a first down, he's the guy they've turned to. And it doesn't matter what the defense thinks. They feel like they've got the confidence to keep handing it to him and keep picking up good yardage.
And here he'll get it down to the 7. He'll get a nice chunk there on the first down run, and it's 2nd and 4. The recipe's pretty simple, I think, right? Just give your superstar the ball, continue to feed him.
Yeah, don't overthink this one, right? Make sure he's touching the football, but you're also counting on his intelligence in playing the game as well. If it's not there, don't force the run. Just make sure you hang on to the football and keep the clock ticking.
Mixon on the toss right. And he's in. Touchdown, Houston.
Joe Mixon,
His 2nd touchdown of the night.
and the Texans have opened up a 2-touchdown lead here in this 4th quarter. So a toss play there does the trick as he's into the end zone.
And you don't run this unless you're sure you've got a guy who has the speed who can get to the edge, because what you're hoping for him to win the race to the corner and turn it upfield to the end zone.
Extra point by Fairbairn, up and good. And the lead now up to 14. So the drive there took 6 plays. And it all culminated in the touchdown run coming from Joe Mixon. So after the touchdown, here's Fairbairn now to kick it away.
And he'll get it up just past the 20 as his guys will go to work at the 21-yard line. The Dallas offense back out onto the field. These guys definitely hoping for a better showing than their last appearance. They couldn't really even move the football much beyond the shadows of their own goalpost, Charles. We'll see if they can get a better, more sustained drive going here.
Yeah, and every team that we ever talk to says the exact same thing. When you start a drive from that deep in your own territory, the goal is a minimum of at least 2 first downs, because even if you have to punt then, you change the field position, right? You flip the field a little bit. They didn't get that done. This time they want to string together a nice drive and help themselves out.
A gain of 8 there on the play. And that'll bring up a 2nd down in just a couple. A good start there on this 4th quarter drive. They need more of what we just saw.
Down a couple of scores. There's still time, all right? It's not like, they're totally out of it, but they have to score quickly, and they're going to need some big-time plays, chunk plays, explosive plays. They need yardage on each snap.
Now he's free to midfield.
And down right around the 37. It's a gain of 34.
Despite writing it down on my notes, I never give enough credit to the offensive line, and we have to here. The protection, that's what made this play a success. Quarterback had to wait for his crossing route to develop, and that takes a little bit of extra time. Excellent job by the big fellas up front.
Meanwhile, Prescott's throw pulled in by Tolbert.
And inside the 20 before he's brought down. And between the last 2 plays, they've moved it over half the length of the football field. Defensively here, you've got the cushion, but back-to-back pretty big pass plays there. Bend but don't break, but are they bending too much?
I think that they are. To me, it'd be like playing basketball, and you put up a token press. Make sure you get up there and make them eat up some time. Make it a little bit of resistance so they can't just run it right down your throat.
13 yards as they've got the connection working. His 2nd catch in a row, 1st down.
Boy, how about the speed with which this offense can get down the field? It's taken them no time at all to get down here, and now they're set up with a 1st and goal.
Here's 1st and goal.
Here's Prescott.
And this ball is caught by Lamb. Touchdown, Dallas.
A great effort there with his 2nd touchdown of the night.
And the Cowboys have made it a 1-score game again here in the 4th. So how about that for an answer? They get the touchdown there, and it's back to a one-score game here in the fourth.
And that's what these guys have done all game long because they've scratched and slashed their way to stay in this game. And by now we should all realize they're not going away. Now the pressure again swings to their defense because they're going to need to find some way to get the ball back.
So after the touchdown, Aubrey now to kick this one away. Taking it about the 1. And he'll go down as this drive will start at the 25-yard line. And now out comes Houston. And with that last touchdown, I mean, we're set up for a good finish here. Some things to consider, Charles. Obviously, it's a very close game. You're in the fourth quarter. Defensively, they've got all 3 timeouts in their back pocket.
So the chess match really ramps up, doesn't it? Because in these situations, what do? Do you run the ball and kill the clock here? Or do you try and bury them with another score? And how about defensively? Do you use your timeouts at earliest opportunity or wait till you hit the 2-minute warning? So there's a lot going into this one. Let's see how each side goes about their strategy.
And he will slide down, but a penalty marker down. And this may be all for naught. And that one was relatively easy to see. I noticed that from up here.
Yeah, it doesn't take a whole lot, does it? Sometimes you get multiples. What I always love on these offsides is when each side points at the other. Hey, you did it. No, you did it. They deciphered that one correctly.
A boost here to start the drive. After the penalty, it's 1st and 5. Stroud looking to throw. And this turns into a nice gain with a slide at the end. Fourth quarter, down to the final 2 minutes, and we've got a one-score game. So it's Texans football as we welcome you back. They've got a 1st and 10 as they look to try and finish this one off. 5 points of contact necessary at this stage as they'll run on 1st down. And now we'll see a timeout used on defense as they stop it right out of the break with 1:57 to go in the ball game. Have to imagine this will be on the ground as well as they come up 2nd and 7. He's going to get it again. Just looking to get forward and protect the ball. The Cowboys going to use their 2nd timeout now. That'll leave them with just 1 remaining in this 4th quarter of play. Here's 3rd and 6. Stroud back to throw. Able to find the open man. That's complete. The Cowboys signal for their 3rd and final timeout. And they'll be disappointed to have to burn one there after giving up the 1st down. And they will take a knee here. Now Joe Mixon. And he'll take this one down to the 36.
I like the call there because that was one to take time off the clock and get them closer to getting out of here with a W. In the mind of the play caller, all you want to hear is tick, tick, tick.
to Inigo Stroud, and that is going to be all she wrote.
Partner, they took a knee to finish this one off. To me, that's the only thing they lost in the fourth quarter. How about that comeback?
Yeah, trailed coming into the last frame. Got it done, taking the knee. Charles, normally when you see a group score this many points, it's a complete blowout. But instead, they needed every single one of those in this close, high-scoring affair.
And, Brandon, I'm still on the edge of my seat after that one, because when you have that much scoring and it still comes down to a one-possession game at the end, that's not something we see very often. And in this case, these offenses, they brought it. The defenses, they're going to need some work going forward.
So that'll just about do it for Charles Davis. I'm Brandon Gaudin. You've been watching the NFL on EA Sports. For more, log on to easports.com. With that, we say good night from AT&T Stadium.